Welcome to the Nerd Party.
It's not working.
Well, how long since you've cleaned the heads?
The what?
The heads. Do you have any alcohol?
To drink?
What? No, to clean it. Check the tracking.
The rental place closes in 2 hours.
Shut up, it's working.
Time for a retro perspective.
Hello and welcome to Retro Perspective, the Nerd Party show where we take a look at all of the movies released 25 years ago this week. I'm Mike.
I'm John.
And today we're going to be taking a look at 2 weeks from 1994, May 20th and May 27th.
Yes.
So, let's get started with May 20th. There were only 2 movies released this week. And there was only one movie which I wanted to see this week. And there was only one movie which I did see this week. And it was not the same movie.
So what was the movie you wanted to see this week, Mike?
The movie I wanted to see this week was number 11 at the box office, bringing in $1.1 million with a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. Even Cowgirls Get the Blues.
With a stunning 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. What attracted you to this fine feature, Mike?
It was directed by Gus Van Sant. It was the movie that he made right before To Die For, which is amazing. And it starred Uma Thurman. And it looked cool.
I did not see Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, but I think it's contemporaneous. It's right around the same time period that she was in Hysterical Blindness, wasn't it? It's right around the same time period, I think.
I don't know about that. I mean, I guess when you think about it, it was only a week before Pulp Fiction debuted at Cannes. So,
yeah, because I think Hysterical Blindness was maybe 93, maybe 92. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's pre Pulp Fiction Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not readily available. They've released it on DVD through like the on-demand service from Warner Brothers, and it's kind of hard to come by. And yeah, wasn't able to get a copy. So
what were we left with then, Mike?
We were left with the number 1 movie at the box office, which made $23.2 million, which seems like a lot for these days. It had 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that was Richard Donner's Maverick.
Yes, the adaptation of the James Garner television show, Maverick.
Yep.
Starring Mel Gibson in the title role.
Yes, and Jodie Foster and James Garner.
Yes, and it's our second movie that we've watched with James Coburn.
Yes, it is. After Deadfall.
Yes.
Which they just announced this week that Nicolas Cage and Nick Vallelonga, the acting and writing team behind Deadfall, is reteaming for a movie which I forget the name.
Well, all that's important is that I think both of us have entered into a promissory pact that whoever has to fly wherever, we are seeing that movie together. We will be seeing it on opening day. Just sell me my ticket now.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So, this movie, had you seen it before?
Yeah, I did. I saw it years ago. I don't think I saw it in the theater. I'm pretty sure I saw it on home video, when it was later released and everything. Definitely still part of the same, Western explosion that 94 has thrown at us.
Yeah.
That's trucking along.
I'm shocked at how many Westerns there were back then. I saw it when it was on video too, probably like a year after it came out. Really like super duper creative team working on it. Richard Donner, of course, director of Superman and some good movies, and then written by William Goldman.
Yep.
Edited by Stuart Baird.
Yes.
Photographed by Vilmos Zsigmond.
Mm-hmm.
Although the copy on iTunes is in standard definition, so it was kind of.
Yeah, that felt a little. Yeah. Well, I can tell you that the copy on Amazon wasn't really up to snuff. It wasn't remastered, so
It didn't look good. But yeah, so what did you think? Well, what did you think about this movie when you saw it back in the day?
I really liked it back then. It hit the right pleasure zones. As Mel Gibson acting like Riggs from Lethal Weapon, but in a Western setting. Some zany humor, winks and nods at the audience type of stuff, breaking the fourth wall on occasion. And, I really, really liked it back then. Did you like it back then, or were you more like, I know that you were coming into this a bit more ambivalent because you wanted to see the other movie.
Yeah.
But is this something where there was also ambivalence because you didn't enjoy it back then?
No, I mean, I enjoyed it back then, but it was at the same time, it was like, I thought it was okay back then, and I didn't like it enough to watch it ever since.
Yeah.
And I wasn't exactly excited about watching it this time either. I would not have watched it if it weren't for the fact that I couldn't get even Cowgirls Get the Blues,
Yeah.
So, yeah, what did you think about it now?
It's good. It's a well-made distraction, basically. If I were scanning around on television, if I theoretically had a free moment and was watching TV and I happened across it and I was just having a lazy Sunday afternoon or something, it's something I could stop on and enjoy. But in all honesty, the movie really feels like a waste of talent because there's no real substance to it. It's it's some fun gags. It's in the spirit of a James Garner television show, but it really just feels like super well produced comedy television. And it really is just Mel Gibson doing a riff on his Lethal Weapon character. Mm-hmm. It's crazy Mel, having a good time and I thought there were some really funny bits to it, some real, sly bits of humor, but outside of that, it just, it's good. It's fine, as you like to say. So,
yeah.
Where did you end up?
I thought it was okay too. It was kind of like chugging along and sort of like never really drifted too far into the boring category. And then, once it got to like the poker game, that's when I started to really get interested in it,
Yeah.
And I guess that's good that it ended strong. Because, at the beginning, there wasn't really anything there that really struck me. Not that it was bad. There's just nothing really there. So,
Yep.
So in the end, I would say that it was good, but not great. No, I can wait another 25 years before I see it again.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It feels like I know it's very harsh to say waste of talent, but like you get the talent we talked about behind the movie and you expect something that's going to be, okay, this is going to be like the Western comedy to define them all for the rest of time. And instead it's just, I had a good time, which I guess is probably all that Donner was going for, was entertain everybody and, make them happy that they spent $5 and caught a flick.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to see, I don't know, something a little more to it.
Yeah, it is crazy how many Westerns were happening at this point in time. It's strange. I guess City Slickers took off and whatever. We're going to see another City Slickers in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but Unforgiven.
Unforgiven, yeah, I guess that's true. It's just
a Western winning an Oscar is going to kick off, that whole splurge.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, whatever. All right. Well, should we move on to the week of May 27th?
I look forward to moving on to the week of May 27th because I think that's shrouded in a little more mystery for the two of us.
Okay. Well, this was Memorial Day weekend, so they were playing around a little bit with the release dates here. The first movie of the week came out on May 23rd, and that movie is Desperate Remedies, which had a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. I couldn't find any box office info about it. The trailer for this seemed interesting. Did you watch the trailer?
I did. I watched the trailers. Meh.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it could be cool. I wouldn't have been opposed to watching this movie, but I had my sights set on bigger and better things.
Yeah, I just had my sights set on different things. An actual movie that I've wanted to watch for the last 25 years.
Okay, all right. Well, let's take a look at what was released on May 25th. Oh boy, what a day for movies.
Mm-hmm. Orthodox Star Wars Day, as you like to say.
Yes. In 1994, there were 2 movies released on May 25th. Coming in at number 9 at the box office with $1.2 million, starring the current box office king, Keanu Reeves, was Little Buddha, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci.
Yeah.
Did you watch this?
No.
Me either. The trailer didn't exactly intrigue me, and Bernardo Bertolucci these days doesn't exactly intrigue me. So that was a pass.
I remember the joke that was made in Entertainment Weekly, because I used to read that back then, because I did, and they made fun of it in terms of the Gilligan's Island, where they just had a quote saying, "Hey, little Buddha, what are you doing?" And that's all that's all I needed. I was done.
Yeah, but hey, 68%, that seems like that's the big movie of the week.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Okay, so number 3 at the box office, also released on May 25th, with making $18.4 million and gaining 10% positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, was John Landis's Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yes.
So have you seen this? Did you watch this?
Yep.
Yeah? What'd you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the Beverly Hills Cop franchise is the law of diminishing returns.
Mm-hmm.
Beverly Hills Cop, kicks the door open and really makes Eddie Murphy a huge marquee star, and kicks off his career. Beverly Hills Cop 2, I didn't really care for. And then Beverly Hills Cop 3 just sputters. And there's a reason we haven't had Beverly Hills Cop 4.
I had never seen a Beverly Hills Cop movie.
Really?
No.
Never.
And it was one of those things where I was always intrigued by it for a couple of reasons. One, because, the first 2 at least were produced by Simpson and Bruckheimer. And I'm always up for that. But then also just like the talent in the director's chair was so weird to me, because it was like 3 distinct filmmakers and 3 filmmakers whose work I've enjoyed, and I just always thought it was strange, like the people who they got to make these and the order that they made them in and everything. Like, if you would have told me like who the 3 filmmakers were and told me like the order that they made them in, I would have been like 3, 2, 1 and not 1, 2, 3. But yeah, so I watched all 3 in the span of about 30 hours.
That's a lot of Beverly Hills Coppin'.
Yeah. And the first one directed by Martin Brest, who hasn't made a movie since Geely, which, I know Geely has a reputation for being like the worst movie ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's bad, but it's not career ending,
Oh, I know.
And, he made like Meet Joe Black. Meet Joe Black was a good movie.
Didn't see it.
Oh, man, it's great.
It always intrigued me, but never really got to me.
I was surprised how many people haven't seen it, but this recently became like a thing, because what I thought was a thing that everyone knew about, the Brad Pitt death scene, just made its way to social media, and now like a new generation of people are experiencing Brad Pitt's death in Meet Joe Black for the first time and saying, like, what movie is that from? I've got to see that movie. And I always thought that was like a thing that everybody knew about. Have you seen Brad Pitt die in Meet Joe Black?
No, because I haven't seen Meet Joe Black.
Well, I'll send you the clip because
I appreciate that.
I mean, it is definitely the best part of the movie. But yeah.
Well, that's kind of harsh, Mike. You're wishing, I mean,
well, it's the beginning.
To go up to an actor and say that the best part of the movie is you dying. That's kind of rough.
He is playing like death in the okay. So so anyway, it's Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, I thought it was fine, right? You know, whatever. But then, you know, like I was especially intrigued by the second one because Tony Scott directed it.
Yep.
And it really is like, what if Tony Scott made a Beverly Hills Cop movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, the photography is gorgeous, the action, they really step it up and everything. But, you know, I mean, and I thought it was like, maybe not quite as good as the first one, but, you know. And then John Landis directs the third one. Like,
yep.
And I mean, I would say this is the point. I mean, like, I wasn't like Beverly Hills Cop is amazing. And then, you know, I was like, Beverly Hills Cop is good. Beverly Hills Cop 2, it's still good. And this one I was like, nah, I guess it's not really good.
No, Beverly Hills Cop 3 is everything that I kind of had been warned about.
Was this the first time you had seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I just assumed
I stopped it too.
Okay.
I stopped it too. And the thing is, just to give some sense here, is I haven't watched the first Beverly Hills Cop in a long time. I have really, you know, it's one of those things where I prefer to leave it back in the very positive reaction that all of us had. Obviously, I was too young to see it in the movie theater, but I had some really cool cousins that would rent stuff and let me watch it. And my brother worked in a video store, so I saw all sorts of things I wasn't supposed to see. But part of the power of Beverly Hills Cop and part of the reason that it went so crazy big is because of the fact that it was raunchy. It was, you know, it was a comedy that for the time was really, you know, a bawdy comedy, a bawdy sort of comedy. And you know, Eddie Murphy got to be disrespectful and, you know, the banana in the tailpipe and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, that you
really,
say banana.
Like,
are you kidding? That was
like
a go-to joke for a long time. We're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I've heard of that. You know, I've heard like people that sort of like making fun of that, I guess, more than anything. But like, I mean, looking at it, like I didn't consider it to be super raunchy. I think of it as like, I mean, he swears a lot. You know, there's a lot of F-bombs in this movie. But aside from that, there's not really anything.
Yeah, but that's still, I mean, the thing is, you gotta keep in mind that like that Eddie Murphy's just his raw talent, and he was really at the top he was at the apex of his fame at that point.
And he was only 22 years old when he made that movie.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy came out of Saturday Night Live, and you know, it was a little bit of a stumble out of the gate, but then once Beverly Hills Cop hit, and then he had his concert tour movies and all of that stuff, like, you know, you went to just go see him do his thing. Mm-hmm. This became an Eddie Murphy vehicle. If I remember the production history correctly, this was originally conceived as an action movie for Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
And then that fell through, and so they went with Eddie Murphy and said, no, let's do comedy. And you know, and instead we got the unintentionally funny Cobra from Sylvester Stallone around the same time.
Yeah, apparently I read on the internet that like Stallone even did a pass on the script at one point.
I mean, we're talking about the first Beverly Hills Cop, but like everybody loves Surge. You know, Bronson Pinchot's big break. Who, you know, you talk about Tony Scott directing the second one. He shows up in True Romance.
Yeah, but he's not in the second one though, which is
I know
weird.
He's not, which is like a whole. I think that's almost like Tony Scott being like, I really wanted you in the second one, so let's do True Romance instead, and that's a better movie. So
you know who is in the second one?
Brigitte Nielsen.
Yeah, she's in it, but so is Chris Rock. In one
really?
scene, he's like a valet. and like he's the valet at the Playboy Mansion, and like there's like some sort of chase, and they pull up, like Eddie Murphy pulls up in a cement truck, and Chris Rock's like, I get $5 for a car and $10 for a limo. What am I going to get for this? And Eddie Murphy's like, here's $50. Park it next to the limos or something like that. And that was it, you know? And it's like, I mean, he was funny in his like 2 lines of dialogue, but he was like a 22-year-old kid, you know? It was pretty interesting to see that, you know? But anyway.
I'd forgotten that part of it. I can honestly tell you that, Beverly Hills Cop 2, I have no desire to go back and watch again. And, you know,
it's
Beverly Hills Cop 3.
That seems so weird to me. Like, I mean, I was reading about it, trying to like figure out like, how did this go down? Right. Because like Tony Scott, he had just made Top Gun, and then he makes Beverly Hills Cop 2. Like, that seems like a huge step down. Like, you make Top Gun, then you make something like way, way above. But they were saying like he got the job to direct Beverly Hills Cop 2 because the studio was happy with Top Gun. And it's like, what? Of course, after he makes Top Gun, if he wants to do Beverly Hills Cop 2, you let him. Like, what does that mean? You know? It just seems so weird.
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to bring his own spin on it or something. You know, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, in a lot of ways, I think number 2 is the most interesting of them. But number 3, I don't know what was going on. And then I went down the rabbit hole of Eddie Murphy and John Landis. And that went to some very interesting places because apparently, even though they kept on working together, they did not like each other at all. So
really?
Yeah. Like I was reading, like Landis was talking about how, like with Beverly Hills Cop 3, Eddie Murphy apparently wanted to basically like shed the humor and become an action star. And Landis was saying that he was like playing against the humor in a lot of scenes. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why it's not as funny. And Landis was trying to make a comedy, but Murphy was trying to not really do that.
Why would you bring on the guy who did Blues Brothers to make a serious movie about Beverly Hills Cop?
Well, I think that Murphy was just like, not that he wanted to do like a serious movie, but he just wanted to be taken more seriously. But then it sounds like he, like has, like they were talking about like Coming to America, which I guess was made before this, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was.
Because they must have done Trading Places first, right?
Oh yeah, no, Trading Places is 83.
Yeah, and then Coming to America. So like I read some interview with Eddie Murphy where he was talking about like working with John Landis on Coming to America and how like John Landis was all mad at him because Eddie Murphy didn't come to his defense when the whole thing with the Twilight Zone happened. So like he didn't like him, but you know, he liked Landis, so he hired Landis against the studio's wishes. But then when Landis got there, he was a total jerk and everything like that. And they're like talking about all this stuff that's happening on Coming to America. And then after all that, they were like, let's work together again.
Yeah. Coming to America was 88. 1988.
So they hated each other 6 years before they made this movie. And then they didn't like working with each other on this movie. So
it does seem like a very, although it could be one of those things where, you know, it's, I don't like you, you don't like me, but we've had box office success before. Therefore, you know, we'll put that, we'll shelve it while we're on set and just do the best that we can.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, if your star and your director don't get along, not always. I mean, sometimes that does produce, you know, great art. How many movies are there where you hear about how the star and the director just hated each other?
Yeah.
But it brought out what they needed. But the thing is, I think in most of those cases, you're dealing with a drama, not a comedy. To come at, like, Murphy's a fool to think that people are coming in and plunking down change to see Beverly Hills Cop 3 for anything besides a fun diversion. Like they're not coming to Beverly Hills Cop 3 for an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. They want to see Eddie Murphy yuck it up and make them laugh again. And that is a key miscalculation by Mr. Murphy, I would say.
Yeah. Well, he's basically disowned the movie. Apparently, back when it came out, he's like, oh, this is better than 2. You know, this is return to form or whatever.
Yeah.
But then like years later, he was like on Inside the Actors Studio or something like that. And they were like listing off all his things. They got to Beverly Hills Cop 3 and everyone started applauding. And he's like, no, don't applaud that. That movie's garbage. So.
Well, I can say that one of the things that gets to like an argument, an ongoing disagreement that I have with Craig, which is like, you know, he always talks about, yeah, but on the tour they said, you know, on the press tour they said that it was a pleasure working together, and I'm like, of course they're going to say that on the press tour. Mm-hmm. They want you to go see the movie. They're not going to come out and say, oh, we kind of hated working with each other, and I wanted this and he wanted that, but you know, it's worth your $5. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's Paul Verhoeven, right? Very famously, when he was promoting Showgirls, was like, "This is a masterpiece." You know, in future generations, this will be seen as a masterpiece, right? Mm-hmm. It's a misunderstood masterpiece. And then 10 years later, or whatever, they're talking to him about it, and he's like, "No, that movie's crap." And they're like, "But you said it was a masterpiece," and he's like, "I was promoting the movie, blah blah blah, but now enough time has passed that nobody's got any." Stake in it anymore, so I can say that the movie is garbage.
I can say that if you're going to bring Showgirls into it, is a movie where I still don't think I've seen it in its entirety. Mm-hmm. I was only able to endure like 10 minutes at a time because I was living with somebody that had cable. So it's like, oh, Showgirls. It's like 10 minutes. I was like, I'm tapping out for right now.
I bought the DVD when it was in a $5 bin. Like 20 years ago, and I still haven't watched it. But one day. You're not.
You are really not missing anything.
One day.
The fact that Gina Gershon came out of that movie with her career intact is a testament to Gina Gershon.
Yeah.
Okay, like that movie didn't just end careers. It spiked them.
Yeah.
It flattened them. And I mean, I feel, the thing is, people talk about, oh, you shouldn't talk, that people are expressing great regret, as they should, for the way they treated Ahmed Best through the years. We're 20 years after Phantom Menace and everything. Elizabeth from Saved by the Bell.
Elizabeth Berkley?
Berkley, yeah. From, she was the star of Showgirls. You want to talk about vicious. The reviews of Showgirls were like, hats off to her that she not only overcame that, but persevered and later, continued her career.
Yeah.
Like, that's some real spiritual strength right there, because look up some of those extant reviews from back in the day. They were horridly mean to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day I'll see it. I will. I'm waiting to see it on the big screen, hoping that'll happen at some point. You never know. They're showing Total Recall in 70 millimeter here in Chicago next month, so
Oh my gosh, are they really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that movie that's one that I go back and forth with people about too, because I remember seeing that in the theater way back when, and I was much younger, and I came out of it on fire. That was so cool. I love that movie so much. And then I revisited it many years later. I want to say it was about 10 years ago I revisited it, and I was just aghast at how much I disliked it. I was like, this movie is just terrible.
Yeah,
it's not good at all.
I've only seen it once and I didn't like it, but who knows? Maybe they'll, sucker me into seeing it again. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
A 70 millimeter print. And I can't get Phantom Menace on the 20th anniversary. What the hell, man? Come on.
That's the way it works. That's the way it always works. And I'm just like, 70 millimeter. Like, they're like, Joel Schumacher is going to come out and we're going to do a double feature of Falling Down in 35 millimeter, which I'm like, I'll be there for that. And then Flatliners in 70 millimeter. And for some reason, I'm like, I need to go see Flatliners in 70 millimeter. How could I miss that? I'm like, I've seen that movie once and I hated it, but you're like a 70 millimeter. Well, in that case, I'm going to have to make a special trip for that one.
But Schumacher has always been able to get such interesting performances out of Kiefer Sutherland.
I mean,
like it's worth it just for that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen the movie, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Anyway,
I know. But Sutherland is always fun to watch in a Schumacher movie.
Yeah,
it's just they work well together.
Yeah. Well, we might get to see Kiefer Sutherland next week in one of these here movies. Oh, but before we get to that, we forgot number one at the box office with $44.2 million. Released on May 27th, The Flintstones.
Yep.
Have you seen this?
Nope. I've seen a scene. I don't want to see it.
No.
I really don't want to see it because I love John Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of the reason I love John Goodman is I have no real memory of this. It's widely regarded as just a travesty. Have you ever seen it?
No, I did, even though I haven't seen this either, I did project the Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas.
Ugh.
But I never saw that one either.
How did you not see it if you were projecting it?
Well, when you've got like 7 movies which are playing all at the same time, you thread them and then they start up and you watch the trailers, you make sure that those are okay. That's where it makes it really easy to focus and frame things because there's lots of words up on the screen and everything. And then the movie starts, the lights go down, and the movie starts playing, and if everything's good, if the sound goes up to the proper level and the lights go down to the proper level, then you're good. Then you're more than anything just watching the actual film to make sure that it's not, flying off the platter or anything.
Okay.
So
I was hoping you were going to say it was like some like Jedi projectionist challenge that you had where you had to be like blindfolded.
No,
and,
although I
thing.
could, and I have on numerous occasions, like threaded a projector with my eyes closed. You can do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you
That's
definitely
awesome,
want to open your eyes and check to make sure that you didn't, but you can do it. It's pretty easy.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Easy for you.
Yeah. Well,
it's just what a shame that you didn't get to thread Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. But, who knows? Never say never.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So should we take a look at the movies which are coming out next week?
Yes, we should.
June 3rd. Well, on June 1st is A Gift from Heaven. And then on June 3rd, we've got 5 movies. Grief, Fear of a Black Hat, The Endless Summer 2, The Cowboy Way, another one of these Westerns, with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
And Renaissance Man.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be very interested to see what you pick. I think this is going to be one of those weeks where I'm going to wind up with 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try for 2, and I know that the one that I'm going to definitely watch is going to be the lesser of the 2, but I feel like obligated to watch it because of the people involved. So it's going to be one of those things where you make bad choices, but yeah.
Bad choices is what Retro Perspective is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if people want to talk to you about their bad choices, Mike, where can they find you online?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Mumbles3K. And you can also find me on filmdamagepod.com doing a show called Film Damage. And that's about it for right now. What about you, John?
Oh, my online nom de plume is Kessel Junkie, primarily active on my blog, kesseljunkie.com, and which I keep threatening to start writing less, but for some reason I'm still writing every day. And you can find me over on Letterboxd and Goodreads, and you can find me right here on the network, co-hosting Aggressive Negotiations, a Star Wars podcast with Matthew Rushing. And though we took the week of Memorial Day off. Be sure to check our catalog because we did a full commentary for The Phantom Menace in honor of its 20th anniversary.
The original theatrical cut?
No, the Blu-ray cut.
Oh.
Also known as the 3D cut, but we didn't watch it in 3D because, nobody does that.
Well, it's not the same as the 3D cut because it doesn't have the 3D logo, Lucasfilm logo in the front of it.
Yeah, but it's still the same as the 3D cut because it has digital Yoda and all of the tiny little editing tweaks that Lucas is famous for in re-releases. And also a lot of other small effects improvements that he does to certain background effects and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that 3D logo.
Nor will it ever. Because I don't have... They never released that on home release.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
but
so how the hell am I going to have it?
But if you do get like if you go to see it like in 2D theatrically, it has the 3D logo.
Which just brings up again the painful fact that they didn't re-release it for the 20th anniversary.
You'll get to see it for the 20th anniversary in December when they release all 9 movies in a row in a marathon.
Oh, geez, not a marathon.
It's going to
make it like a 9-day. No, make it like a film festival. 1 movie a night. Get me there. Seriously, how much more are they going to make in concessions if they get me there every night? I'm going to buy concessions 9 nights in a row.
If it were me, this is what I would do. December 7th. Saturday, December 7th. Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Then Saturday, December 14th. Episodes 4, 5, and 6. And then Thursday, December 19th. Episodes 7, 8, and 9. That's what I would do.
I'm down with that.
But that's not what they're going to do.
No, it's not what they're going to do. No. They're going to have a...
And then I would throw in the other 3 movies, like, wherever they should be in there.
Story order.
Yeah.
You must show them in story order.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
If I had an Alamo Draft House down here, I'd start campaigning them to play the... I will soon, but if they were down here, I'd start campaigning for the Ewok Adventures.
Yeah, that's not going to happen either. I guarantee you that.
Well, maybe somebody could rent a theater and bring their own copy that they may or may not have. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath. Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Oh, well.
Yep.
I guess that's it for this week.
That'll be it for this week, yeah.
Okay. Well, until next week, be kind, rewind.